Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this Facebook Live session today. Bill and I are joining you from the Boston office of BCG to share a little bit about the people and organization practice area, as well as our experiences working on the Knowledge team. My name is Sarah Baxter, and I'm a lead analyst in the People and Org Practices Org Design topic. In this role, I lead a team of global experts, and I also contribute to topic development on the org design space, as well as Org Builder tool. And of course, I also support case teams.
Hi, and I'm Bill Latshaw. I've been here for 18 years, so I've seen quite a bit of the BCG and people and organization practice. When I joined, Grant Freeland started as our regional practice area leader, and I supported him on a number of different projects developing the practice area within North America. And as a result of that, I've done quite a bit of things here at BCG and People and Organization Practice. That's POP, by the way, you guys. And as a part of that right now, I'm still doing work with the practice area, working with the Knowledge Business Director, and also working with leadership and talent on capability building.
Great. So for about 20 minutes, we're just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the POP practice, as well as the culture on our team and the benefits of working here.
And then we'll answer some commonly asked questions that we receive.
Let's get started.
Great. So why did you choose BCG? What was your path here?
So right before joining BCG, I had just completed my MBA in entrepreneurship. And before that, I had spent a couple years in corporate HR doing systems, compensation, training, and so on. As soon as the role was presented to me, it seemed like a perfect match of my interests and my skills because it would really allow me to, and it has allowed me to, work with global organizations to really address some of the challenges that they're facing in their organizations. How about you?
Well, I came here from a company called Arthur D. Little. It's also a consulting firm. And I worked in the area of learning organizations. So I worked with team building, system dynamics, and was a consultant there for a number of years. And then I worked on the knowledge side of the practice area of developing their knowledge area within the strategy and organization practice. And then when I saw the opportunity here at BCG, I jumped for it and have been glad ever since. So for those who might not know, what is the BCG People and Organization Practice anyway?
So the People in Org Practice, or also known as POP, is essentially just a collection of really expert and passionate people who work with clients to address their most pressing people challenges. So the POP practice is divided into 6 subtopics, and so we have organization design, change management, leadership and talent, HR, smart simplicity, and behavior and culture.
Great, yeah, and the one thing I would think about it is what we've been working on is working on the hard side and the soft side of organization work for years, and that's something we've been trying to develop and enable for our clients. So that's an interesting part.
So what's an example of a case that I might work on?
Wow. Again, it would start with what's your expertise. So when you're brought in, there's a level of expertise that you usually have in one specific topic. It might be a tool, a topic, when depending on what that is, that's where you're going to find yourself working mostly. But everything is interlaced. So you'll find yourself working on cases that go through all of the different topics that we've spoken with and other practice areas. So it's exciting, it's fun, you get to learn new things every day. So how does your team partner with BCG generalist consultants?
So I think partnering with generalist consultants is the job. So, it's important to remember that BCG hires generalists. And so this means that someone may have a deep expertise in science, but they were just on a pricing project and now they've been staffed to org design. So a lot of the teams that we're working with have very little prior knowledge of the subject matter, and our clients expect us to go deep. So our job really is to enable those consultants to be the experts on the ground engaging with our clients. So Bill, what project are you most proud of in your time at BCG?
Wow, there have been a lot of them, but I'd say the one that stands out is when I was asked to be a training expert for an investment banking firm. They had some issues with some of their brokers, and as a result of that, they really needed to change the way their brokers thought about the way they worked with their customers. And that involved not just changing what they do on a daily basis, but also the culture, the way that they thought about things. So I was able to support them and enable that to happen. So it's really gratifying to see that change happen for those folks.
Great. And from my side, I would say probably my proudest project is not necessarily a case, but was an opportunity to collaborate on what we call the organization design playbook. So the people in org practice supports a lot of cases where we're moving from one org structure to another, whether it be in the context of a post-merger integration, organizing for growth, et cetera. And as I've already mentioned, this work can be very complex, very nuanced, very deep, and we're not always able to staff our teams with people who've done it before. And so this project really allowed me to work with our topic leaders, other experts in the space, and also leverage my own experience to create some materials that would hopefully demystify this work and make the process easier for consultants, but also ultimately our clients.
Great. How large is the team, and where are they located?
Our team is always growing. I think we have 50 people now.
Wow.
And they're global. So people in org topics are globally relevant, and our team reflects that. So we have people here in Boston, New York, London, Dusseldorf, New Delhi, Sydney, the list goes on.
Wow.
So how does BCG handle work-life balance in our team?
Oh, team is the word. You know, one of the reasons why I've been here for so long is our team. Really enjoy being a part of it and working with you. So the team that we have, you know, one of the things that's kind of interesting about BCG is people support each other. So if I ask something of somebody on the team, they respond, and vice versa. And that goes out not just within the people and organization practice, but all of BCG. So that's really helpful. But if people are asking you for something, you're asking them, there's more work to be done. But there are experts that can help you out. That's one part of it. The other is managers understand you can get overwhelmed and there's a lot of work to be done. So they're ready and available to help out if that happens and support you in that way. What foundational skills make someone an attractive candidate here in the POP?
Sure. So, I mean, I think the skills required vary a little bit depending upon the specific role, but for organization design, for example, I tend to look for three main things. So the first thing would be analytics. Sometimes people hear people in org and they think that it's a fluffy discipline compared to some other things, but that couldn't be further from the truth, actually. I think it's sort of in BCG's DNA to want to back up our recommendations with data, and that certainly applies to us as well. So having a really deep familiarity with analytical tools and approaches and just numbers in general is really important. The second thing I look for is intellectual curiosity and the ability to self-motivate. So as we've mentioned, we have a global team. It's not always possible that someone can meet with their manager every day. So it becomes critical for people to be able to sort of identify gaps in our knowledge offering and seek to address them proactively and somewhat independently. And then finally, as Bill has already sort of teed up, our culture is extremely important at BCG and within POP, and you can't train someone on that. And so trying to find people who are really team-oriented and willing to have each other's backs is absolutely essential.
Great.
So what advice would you give to those who are interested in a role on the knowledge team in POP?
Well, what I would say is, what I would look for, where have you worked with information? Where have you worked with data related to people? We work with a lot of data, and we work with it in order to show people how we can support change and behavior change and how things work differently. So if you've done that, if you've worked with a tool that has that, that's what we really want to see that you've done. So if you can bring that up, that's great. It doesn't have to be big data, it can just be data in general. And also, the other part I would say is a genuine curiosity for our topics. So any of our people organization topics that you're, the ones that you're looking to be a part of, if you're specific tool you're looking to support or topic, but if there's one that you also like as well, we want to hear about that too, because the way that they overlap has a lot to do with that. So that would be another thing I would recommend.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that point, particularly in the interview. I mean, my best interviews are ones where I'm really just having a conversation with someone about a topic that we're both excited about, because that's how you can sort of gauge the experience, the intellectual curiosity, but also the passion, which is also part of our culture as well.
Now we're going to answer some commonly asked questions we received from our candidates. So what are some of the technologies leveraged by the PLP team at BCG?
Yeah, so some people are often surprised to hear that within POP, we've actually sort of been the starting point for some of BCG's first flagship tools. And so one of these is the Org Builder tool, which I work with, which is a tool that helps in any sort of org design case where you're managing a large quantity of sensitive people data. BCG takes tools and technology very seriously, is always investing to improve them and make them more responsive to consultant needs and to client needs. But I would say, tools are not the end goal. All of our tools are really built with a purpose to help test hypotheses or facilitate a process. So again, to sort of make the case experience easier for everyone involved. So Bill, what are the more popular types of projects that I could work on?
Well, popular has two meanings. So let's say first, popular to me, would be things that I'm excited about. Things that I enjoy. So you find the topic that you're excited about and can work on is the first part. The other part is if you're talking about popular related to the number of cases that we do within the people and organization practice. The big ones are organization design. We do a lot of work because there's a lot of work that companies need for reorganization. They need to change the way they're doing business to be competitive. And then as part of that, change management. So we do a lot of work interrelated with PMIs and things like that. But then we're going to need to move the people, the leaders need to change where they do things. The behavior and culture of the organization needs to change as well, and maybe in the level of complexity, human resource needs. So they all interplay together.
Mm-hmm.
So what career development opportunities are available for more junior cohorts?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned, we have a relatively flat structure. And so that means that you don't necessarily have to wait in order to get access to the cool projects or the senior people. It's certainly been my experience and that of many on my team as well, that if you find the intersection of your passion and a gap in our current offering, people are more than willing to support you addressing it. And it's not uncommon for someone who's only been with a team for a year to be the go-to person in KT for a particular topic. So which industries do we see the most POP work in?
Well, nowadays I'd say every industry. When I first started here, the way that we're structured at BCG is a matrix of industry practice areas and functional. And industry has always been something that we've worked at. What we've been able to do over the years is get deeper and deeper into those industries and able to support at very detailed levels. And we're constantly hiring experts within there. So yet, really, for the people in organization practice, the industry doesn't matter so much. It's really what we're doing on the functional side, helping people to move, to change in behavior, enable them to move as the company moves, to be competitive based on the strategic needs they have now and what they're needing in the future. So that's what I would say. What does travel look like here at BCG? How often do we travel? How's that like?
I like to say that within KT we do the fun travel. We work for a consulting company, but we don't necessarily do the grind of Monday through Thursday every week of the year. There are often opportunities for members of the KT team to be staffed to a project if the needs of the case align with an individual's development needs and interests. But then otherwise, I would say we have an annual meeting amongst our KT team just to connect as a group in person, because we do so much virtual communication. And then we also just try to seek these opportunities to co-locate as much as we can.
Great. Looking forward to Barcelona, by the way. Thank you for joining us.
We hope to see you on a future chat.